And right now, I want to check out N4EDX. N4EDX, you got a copy?
Yeah, I do. What would, and I got you as Kilo Charlie 9 question.
Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor. KC9VKV, Roger.
Okay, Jim. I've many times, but had a to you. I don't. I'm on a dipole down here. I'm in the upstate of South Carolina. And yes, the gentleman in Butler. I know Butler. I was up there actually some years back recruiting some healthcare professionals. So I know exactly where Butler is in the Pittsburgh area. You both sound really good. I was curious about the sound and where I might be able to hear the recording that you're saying, over.
Okay, first off, what's the name there? What's your name?
The name here is Echo Delta. It is part of the call sign, November 4, Echo Delta X-ray.
Okay, I didn't hear that, but I'm assuming your name is Ed. Is that a Roger? Okay, and what radio are you running?
I'm running an old.com, 756 Pro 3.
Roger, does it have EQ on it or no?
You know, I'm not sure. I've got the filter set at 3.6, over.
What's the age of that radio?
Oh, I don't know, probably 15 years old now. It's down to a 3.0 and a 2.4, over.
Roger, well, you want to run at least 3, 29 or 3. There's no reason to, if you have the option to run 29 or 3, I would run those, Roger.
Roger, I'm back at 3 on the filter. I just, I don't know, we do a lot of rag chewing down here in the southeast, and I usually go a little more broad or wide as you would. Where do you replay your audio recordings, over?
They're on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to the our Qso-Vlog page. And on that page, you'll be looking for a Qso entitled My Group Air Check 7519. My Group Air Check 7519, which is today's date. Roger?
Yankee Golf Romeo Oscar Uniform Golf.
My Group, GROUP, My Group Air Check. Roger, Roger?
Okay, well, I was very curious. I've listened over a number of months to your recording. I have not been on the YouTube, but I do hear you speaking with folks. You do have a fine and sounding audio set up there. I'm going to go back wide, and I don't know, I know it does not help this noise, but very nice to make your acquaintance. I didn't get your name.
Name here is Jim, Juliet India Mike. And also, if you would be interested sometime in maybe getting a little fatter signal, I could assist you doing that. Right now, it looks to be your dynamic range is fairly unprocessed.
Yeah, no, the processor, I don't use the processor, but I'm just using the filter, and I'm only transmitting at about 300 watts. So a homemade dipole, the dipole it runs north to south, so you're kind of off of the northwest side of my dipole. Or you down here, about over.
Roger, Ed. Well, you know, what I'm saying is the dynamic range of your audio makes the difference. If you were to go to, right now, you're probably at about a 10 dB dynamic range, fairly unprocessed, which means your average percent of peak modulation is about 30%. Now, we could fatten that up to where your average peak modulation would be somewhere, well, your dynamic range would be about 3 dB instead of 10 dB, and your average peak modulation would be somewhere around 80 to 85%. So you would sound about 2 to 3 times louder than what you are, but it would not be evident as far as listening to the audio that it was processed. We run a very very easy kind of settings. Like I say, that compressor would be at about a 3, which I defy you to even hear that compressor working, but it does exactly what it's supposed to do when we work on the rest of the radio. Roger?
Yeah, Paul, yes, I do, I believe. I did enrich the compressor, brought it up another, I don't know, notch. Looking at the 756 Pro 3, I had that compressor on to, would have been about 9 o'clock. I brought it up to about 10:30 to 11 o'clock on the dial face. I don't know if that made any difference. Over.
Yes, sir. That's the beginning of it. You got a nice beginning. Now, I would go to your ALC meter. Go to your ALC meter, and with your mic gain in the other hand, and adjust the mic gain to where your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3.
Okay, Jim. Really, it's on ALC scale. I'm scale right now about 2/3 to 3/4.
Kind of faded out that last part. Repeat.
It looks like it's full scale on the ALC, 80 to 90%. Over.
All right. Well, we'd recommend just between mid-scale and 2/3. In other words, you know, on the right-hand side of midway, but out of the red. Roger.
Yeah. Oh, out of the red or in the red on the ALC?
Now, well, if the red is to the right-hand side of mid-scale, then you don't want to be there. Now, I have seen some of those that they have a red scale on the left-hand side of mid-scale, and I don't know what the heck that is, but I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about in other words, the peak red on the right-hand side of mid-scale of the ALC. Roger?
Okay. Well, Jim, this one must be an older unit. It does have the ALC on the left-hand side. It is, in comparison, ALC compared to signal output would be relative to 0 to S9. At that point, the ALC has a demarcation line, so S9 would be wide open. I can make it go further, but I don't know that that would be what we're looking for.
No, I would say, you know, if you can see the meter movement and the designation of the ALC reading, in other words, it's not a hard left to hard right. It usually is just a left to maybe 2/3 of the scale. But you look at that ALC scale and adjust your mojo to where it is to the right of mid-scale, towards max, but you still, you know, you get some daylight on the right side of the ALC scale. Roger? Roger.
Do you, can you tell a difference from when you and I first began this episode? Did that brighten it up at all?
Well, it fattened it up. It has fattened it up, and you are now running at about 2.5 to 3 dB dynamic range, which is exactly where you want to be. Now, if you just could add a couple of clicks of top end EQ, a couple of clicks of top end EQ, we would have the whole ball of wax. Roger?
Roger. Now, I'm not familiar with how to do that. I will admit, I'm an old Kenwood guy. My favorite radio in the shack is an old CS940 SAT. So even though this ICOM is certainly not new, this 756 Pro 3, it's new to me. So I'm not quite sure how to bring the equalizer online.
Roger, Roger, I got you. So if you have access to the internet, go to Google and Google that radio model number, and you'll probably be able to get a lot of information on that radio. You know, you'll be able to get a whole file about that radio from the manufacturer if you Google it on the internet. Roger?
Roger. Okay, I got you, Jim. Well, listen, my friend, thank you. And I do look forward to hearing some playback. I'll go to your YouTube page, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, and look under my group, 7519. Roger?
Roger, Roger. Yeah, and we will be posting this within the next couple of days. Probably not tomorrow, but or you know, it could be, but at least within the next couple of days we'll have it there. So you go to YouTube and then do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and then that'll take you to the Qso-Vlog page, and then you're looking for a Qso entitled My Group Air Check 7519, and you will be there probably around 4:15 or something. There's a clock in the background, so you can do that. And your audio is immensely improved from the standpoint of dynamic range. You're probably now about twice as loud as what you were. And if you can find EQ through Google, through the internet in Google, I would adjust the top end 2 clicks hotter than what it is, at least 2, maybe 3 clicks hotter on the top end EQ-wise. Roger?
Roger. Roger, Roger. I appreciate it, Jim, and I wish you the best of what remains of this holiday, my friend. This is November 4, Echo Delta X-ray, clear with Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor. 7 3s, my friend.
Roger, Roger. Ed, before you go, what's your location?
I'm in Greenville, just outside of the city of Greenville, South Carolina. I'm on the eastern slope of the Blue Ridge Mountains. I'm about 900 feet above sea level.
Roger, Roger, Ed. Well, 3's that way, sir. Thanks for checking in, and if you get a chance, check back in next Friday. I'd love to talk at you and see what you've been up to and how things are going. So 3's for now. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. If you've got a radio, you want to hear what it sounds like, give us a shout. We are recording now live till 5, KC9VKV.